All right, today we're going to be talking about geometric sequences, okay? So the very first thing we're going to do is you are going to, in your journal, you're going to write geometric sequences. Geometric sequence, I'm going to put versus arithmetic sequence because we just finished up arithmetic. So we're going to talk about the difference between them. So we're going to write down the formula, all right, for arithmetic sequences, which is this. A to the n equals the very first term. So a to the nth term will always be the first term, plus n minus 1 times d. Now just remember this. A to the n equals the nth term. Okay? So that's the nth term. A1 is equal to the first term. And d represents what's known as the common difference. We're going to do a little review real quick so you understand what is this common difference. So right now we're going to start out here. We're going to start with 3. We're going to put comma. We're going to put 7, comma, 11, comma, 15. This would be our first term. This would be our second term. And so on and so on. Okay. What are we jumping up by each time in this arithmetic sequence? 4, right? We're going for every single time we're going up by 4. That means that's going to be our d value in this particular sequence. Our d value, our common difference, is going up by 4. Our very first term is equal to 3. So if I wanted to write an equation, okay, this is our equation right here. Okay? If I want to write an equation based off of this given information, here's what your equation would be. You would say A, the nth term, is going to equal the very first term, which is 3, plus, then we put n minus 1 times a common difference of 4. And that would be the equation for the nth term. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test it. We're going to test it by plugging in the number 4. See if we're right. I wanted to find the fourth term of this sequence. Wherever there's a value of n, I'm going to plug in a 4. And we're just going to work it out. What did I plug in? Right here. I plugged in a 4 there, and I plugged in a 4 right there. Bless you. So my fourth term is going to be 3 plus 4 minus 1 is 3 times 4. And we get 3 plus 12, which yields us 15. And our fourth term is indeed equal to the number 15. So what does that tell us? That tells us this is the correct formula for this arithmetic sequence. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to go over here and we're going to talk about what we're talking about today, which is geometric sequence. Okay? In arithmetic sequences, you're either adding or you're subtracting. Either the numbers are going up or they're going down by either addition or subtraction. In geometric sequence, we're not adding or subtracting. We're always going to be multiplying. So here's your formula. Okay? We're going to say A, some set in, so our nth term will always equal our very first term. But this time we're not going to put plus. We're going to put multiply, the little dot. Multiply. And there's a new letter. It's not D, it's going to be R. To the power of n minus 1. That's going to be your formula. Don't worry, I'll explain what all the little letters mean. Okay? So once again, a n subset n is going to be your nth term. Okay. A1 is still your first term. The R value is what basically, instead of the common difference, think of it as the common factor. Alright, so this time I'm going to create what's called a geometric sequence. Okay, we're going to see if we can figure out what the R factor is. Alright, I'm going to start with 16. Then I'm going to do comma 4. Then I'm going to do comma 1. And then I'm going to do comma 1, 4. It's a fraction, you're right. In this particular case, our R value is a common factor, but it is going to be a fraction. The R value, it could be positive. It could be negative. It could be any rational number, okay? Your common factor is going to be any rational number. Shoot, it could be irrational. It could be pi if you wanted it to be, okay? All right? So it could be rational. It could be irrational, all right? So understand, it's just a number that you're multiplying over and over and over again. So what do you think our R value is from here to there to there to there? You're right. 1/4. Okay. So our common factor here is a positive 1/4. So I'm going to write down the formula that matches this. Here we go. A to the n equals our very first term. You're going to put 16 for your very first term. Times. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put 1 divided by 4. I'm going to put that in. If you want to, you can put that in parentheses if you want. We're going to do n minus 1. If you're wondering, how do you find the common factor? You always take this number and divide it by the one that's previous. That's how you always do it. What's 1 divided by 4? Oh, 1 divided by 4 is 1/4. So that's how you find the common factor. You take the number, right? Any number, and you always divide it by the one that is previous. So if you're not sure what the heck I'm saying, you would take 4 divided by 16. You could also do what? Take the 1 and divide it by the 4, because these are the same. 4 divided by 16 is 1/4. And there it is, right there. That is our equation for this particular geometric sequence. Now we're going to do some problems. We're going to do some problems together. Here's our first problem. It says 3, 6, 12. What is everything being multiplied by? 2. So our next one's going to be 24. So we'll just type in a 24. But what I want you to do in your journal, put 3, 6, 12, 24, and then we're going to write the equation that will go with it. Practice it. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So right now, what is our first term? What is our first term right there? The number 3. So we put 3. Okay. Then we're going to do open parentheses. We're going to put a 2. Why 2? Because that's our common factor. And you're going to raise the power of n minus 1. So this would be, if it asks you for the equation, that would be the equation that goes with this geometric sequence. Okay. Go and type in a 24. Okay. Now we're going to go over here. This one's a little bit trickier. All right. So write those numbers down. We're going to show you guys how to find the next term. Okay. So right now, this is our first term. Right here. That's our first term. Sounds a little bit trickier. So what did I tell you that you have to do? You have to take the negative 4/3 and you have to divide it by 4/9. So you have to take this term right here and divide it by this term to find your R value. R equals this. So how do we do that without the use of a calculator? You just multiply it by the reciprocal. Okay? And it looks like these 4s are going to cancel out. This all cancels out to a 1. And this 3 goes into 9 a total of 3 times. So if you did it in the calculator, you should get a negative 3. That's what you should get in the calculator. Now, how would I do it in the calculator? Here's how I would do it in the calculator. Right? I go alpha y equals enter and do negative 4 divided by 3 divided by, is it 4 divided by 9? There we go. So what's the trick? Alpha y equals enter. That helps you set it up. Alright. So what is our next term going to be in this particular case? If I take 4 times a negative 3, it's going to make it a what? Negative 12. Now that's going to be my answer for watch. We're going to write down what the formula, like what the equation would be. What's our very first term? 4 ninths. What's our common factor? Negative 3 to the power of n minus 1. If you would please write that down in your journal with this set of numbers. This set of numbers goes with this pattern right here, this equation. So this equation will give you that geometric sequence. Okay, here we go. We're going to type in, right there, we're going to type in a negative 12, just like that. Okay, now, here we go. Ooh, use geometric sequence formulas. Use geometric sequence formulas. Go ahead and write this all down if you work this. Alright, when you guys are doing this problem, when it says you're using this formula, I want you to understand this number right here is the R value. If we were going to write an equation for this, here's the equation I would write. I would say A subset n equals our very first term, which is 15, times the common factor of negative 3 to the power of n minus 1. Now, this one is asking for what term? It's asking for the fourth term. So this would be the equation that I'm actually going to use. I'm going to plug in a 4. I'm going to get 15 times, open parentheses, negative 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. 15 times a negative 3 times a negative 3 times a negative 3 is a negative 27. And so I would do 15 times negative 27. So 15 times negative 27 gives me a total of negative 405. So that would be my answer for this particular one. Now, let me show you an even more simplistic way. Why did I do this? Because at some point, what are you going to have to be able to do? You're going to have to be able to make that equation based off of your numbers. Okay. So here's a simple way of doing it. What are we starting as? 15. Yep. 15. What am I multiplying by? A negative 3. So that gets me a negative 45. What am I going to take negative 45 and do? Multiply it by a negative 3. So I just take negative 45 times a negative 3. What do I get? 135. So that gets me 135. Then I multiply that by a negative 3, which gives me a negative 405. So if you take 135 and multiply it by a negative 3, you get negative 405. So this right here, this is your first term, right? This is your second, this is your third, this is your fourth. Now it looks like a 9, so not an A. Which means this is going to be my answer right there. So I'm going to write negative 405. Alright, so go ahead and type in negative 405. By the way, you never want to go to Highway 405 in Los Angeles because you'll never get off of it. It's like a permanent parking lot. It's supposed to be a highway. Alright. If I ever die and I wake up and I'm on the 405, I realize I didn't make it to heaven. Alright, so right now, what are we supposed to do? Write an explicit formula for this. Okay? Here we go. What's our first term? 3. What's our R value? What's it being multiplied by here? every single time. Because 3 times what? 3 times 5 is 15, times 5 is 75, times 5 is 375. So that's our R value. So here's going to be our formula. A, parentheses, N, okay, is going to equal our very first term, which is 3 times 5 to the power of n minus 1. And now, all the time we've been practicing writing formulas is finally going to pay off because you're going to have to write formulas for a given situation. Now, this is going to be important. Like, how are you going to type that in accurately? And I got to make sure you guys understand how this is going to work. Okay? Alright, so here we go. Going to type in a 3. Okay? I'm going to open up a parentheses. I'm going to type in a 5. I'm going to close the parentheses. I'm going to do the power of n. Now this is going to be very, very, very important. You have to use the minus sign right here, okay, to keep it up in that level. Now I'm going to show you what happens when I don't use the minus sign on the Khan Academy. Watch what happens. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit the minus sign on the keyboard. Look what happens. You guys see what happens? It doesn't keep it where? Right up here in that exponential realm. So put minus here and a 1. Make sure you do that when you're doing it, otherwise it will count it wrong and you'll be frustrated and you'll have to do it over again. Okay, so if you pay attention to that. Good luck.